Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Minus the Rumors podcast for April 21st, 2016. I am Ed from Zero Plays Games, joined with my co-hosts, as always, Crimson Rose from Crimson Rose Games, Ziploc Bob,
Hello.
and Angry Hippie Lady.
Hi.
And I'm sorry, Crimson, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
How
good.
dare you?
All right, guys, let's get right into it. Dark Souls 3. I know we all love to watch it. Some of us even love to play it. Dark Souls 3 was looking for funding on Kickstarter, and I know we have poo-pooed on other games that want things crowdfunded. Rock Band.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dark Souls 3 wanted a Dark Souls board game. And they said, hey guys, if you crowdfund this, we will make it. Setting out with a goal of around $72,000. The public decided we need a Dark Souls board game and funded it in 3 minutes. After a few hours, it was up to $320,000. I just checked. It's got more than $1.5 million and 11,000 backers and still has 26 days on its run. Amazing. It's a tabletop board game made for up to 4 people. It sets up a new way to play Dark Souls, basically. There's 5 player classes, enhanced cards for boss behavior. Pardon me. There's legendary weapons treasure cards. And new encounters with mega bosses. And with the new Gaping Dragon boss mode. It's going to be a fun time.
That's what they're calling it nowadays.
And the best part is, if you die in the board game, you might die in real life. We don't know yet. We don't know.
I think we should play
These
this.
Electric stasises that we hook up to.
But good
Yeah,
job,
I'm gonna need
donators.
more Xanax, but if we decide to play this. Actually, there's other video game stuff that have gotten their own board games. And I'm not talking about the ones the Angry Video Game Nerd / Board James reviewed, which were like Super Mario the video game somehow, and the board game sort of thing, or insert this video game Monopoly. But God, the Witcher series, The Witcher 3 has its own board game, and it's actually good. It's kind of like Risk in a way, but to where instead of controlling armies, you control this one little guy, and you're trying to complete missions and turn in bounties and stuff like that. So I could see this being really fun. My only question is, how many times are you allowed to die per game? Because if it's anything like Dark Souls, the answer should be a lot of deaths.
You know what? It might be a thing where if you die in the board game, you have to go back to your last spot on the board that you were at, or something like that.
Yeah, go right back to your home square and start all over.
Your
again.
last save.
Yeah, your last save.
So
It's like,
I guess
did I get to the bonfire? Dang it!
I guess next year, if we do a con together, we can do this together and film it for YouTube.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yes.
Good job, though,
we're gonna have to
donators.
get a paper bag for Hippie since she doesn't want to show her face, though.
Well, we can show our hands.
Yeah, but like a paper bag where it's like.
And every time somebody dies, they have to take a shot. Go for
Ah.
it. Woo!
Yes.
Sorry, no, I can't drink. You guys know that.
Yeah,
We
that's
could
true.
put a GoPro on Hippie's head, so it's like from her point of view.
Oh yeah.
Head cam.
That can.
Woo!
360
All right.
head cam.
No.
360
No.
NoScope, Doritos, Major League Gaming.
So in other news about people being very generous, Square Enix has donated almost $500,000 to the Japanese earthquake relief. Exactly about $457,000. Last week in Japan, there were 2 earthquakes that killed at least 29 people. and they were nice enough to donate that much. They were a 5.4 and a 7.3 that rocked the Kumamoto. So yeah, it's really nice to see someone like this from the gaming industry to give such a sizable amount.
And
Man, people are just
And-
donating money all over the place now.
yeah, FYI, 4,570,000 US dollars is 50 million yen. So that's a sizable money and their money.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I remember right, this was the one where there was the earthquake. It caused a lot of damage. It caused the damage to a nuclear power plant, which caused more damage and leaked out into the ocean, which caused nuclear sludge being out in the ocean. So yay!
No, that was a few years ago. This is last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but they're a small island on a fault line. They get tsunamis and earthquakes quite frequently.
They do, but
Unfortunately.
it depends on where they hit.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yep. Any of you guys out there that are maybe looking forward to Mirror's Edge Catalyst, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. It's been delayed. It's been delayed 2 weeks. It's frustrating, but I don't know. Maybe it's for a good reason.
It's really
maybe.
frustrating when you pre-order. I'm sorry.
Did you pre-order?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And as kids, is why I don't pre-order, because the game could come out and it could be crap.
The game was supposed to come out in March when I bought it.
Yeah, I would never pre-order just because of situations like this, but also you don't know the quality of the game that you're getting, or if you're even gonna want the game.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think the developers of Mirror's Edge themselves, trying to remember the name of the developers. Oh wait, no, it's EA. They totally do this crap sometimes. To where, do you guys know what review embargoes are?
No.
Basically, you get a review copy, but you cannot release your review to the public until after the embargo.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid or the MGS5 was gonna do something kind of like that, but instead they said, all you guys get to come here and play the game, but don't get to say anything about it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with review embargoes when they're done properly. That way, there's not people trying to rush out a half-baked review. It gives everybody fair standing, right? And breaking a review embargo is something you're only going to do once. I'm not saying this is what's happening with this game, but I'm just kind of bringing it up because it is a thing that we should be interested in. That there are certain games, like, whoever develops Assassin's Creed games that do this occasionally, to where if they don't have strong faith in their product and they know they're sending out a turd, they'll set their review embargo date until a day or two after the actual release date. So, yeah. Honestly, this could be a situation so when it comes to pre-orders, that's why I don't do it. I wait for the reviews, and if I find out the review embargo is a day or two after the release date, that automatically is one of the screaming signs of this might be a turd. But
I think EA is just trying to find any way to mess up like one of the only good games they've ever developed.
they
Maybe.
developed a lot. They don't even develop games anymore. They just publish them.
Well, still, they publish bad games.
Yeah.
I mean, they bought out Blizzard.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is. If you look at their history, any company they buy out, they force them to make a few more games, then dissolve them.
Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone.
All
Diablo?
that happened before they got bought out by EA.
Overwatch.
Bought out by EA.
Not going to argue with you, Bob. Okay, you're 100% wrong, but okay.
Oh, Blizzard's a good company. I just wish they didn't sell out the EA of all people, because they have a habit of treating their
I don't disagree with you for a second on that one.
Yeah, they have a habit of treating the people they buy out like crap, and most of the people who were part of Blizzard had since jumped ship, like rats escaping the Titanic. But in other news, the Sonic Boom Broomhead is on his way back into Street Fighter V. Ah, yes, the U.S. Air Force Street Sweeper himself, Gauls is arguably one of the most recognizable characters in Street Fighter series outside of Ken and Ryu themselves. First making his debut in Street Fighter II as one of the 8 World Warriors. Fans quickly took the character and took to his character and story arc, at least here in the West, because he was the one 80s action hero type character in there. And that was a big trope of the time, and it was just part of it. But according to a post on Capcom Unity, developers are bringing back Gal and will have the character retain his abilities that range from his normal attacks to his special moves like Sonic Boom, or that weird somersault kick, Jean-Claude Van Damme somersault kick that he does. However, that doesn't mean Gal hasn't learned any new tricks since his last experience, because of course there's going to be added things to where anti-Hadouken possibly, and then there will be the new sort of moves such as V skill, V triggers, and critical arts added in. From what I can see from the artwork, it is in the same style as the rest of the artwork, but it is done both faithfully yet progressively to the old style, to where he still looks like Gal. He's the one thing I do. Oh, never mind. And he still even has the American flag tattooed on his right arm.
America.
Oh no! Now it's both arms. It's not just the right.
America. Double America.
America. Yeah.
Yes.
Well then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
America.
Any thoughts, guys?
America?
No, I'm good.
It's like,
America? Question mark?
I am the only person out of this group hyped about this. I swear.
You're the only person in the group that plans on playing Street Fighter V.
Yeah, once it's finished and I can pick it up for $20. I'm not buying it in an unfinished state. I'm not stupid.
No.
What about unfinished games we got else on here?
The Long Dark just got an update, guys, and there's challenge modes, and apparently you can now get cabin fever. So great. Basically, it just made the game harder for no good reason.
So
I'm sorry with the fact that you're saying the game's getting harder and it's called The Long Dark. Are you sure this is appropriate to be talking about on this stream?
Absolutely.
You're the only one that made it inappropriate. Now hush. But there are new challenge modes, and it's. I think it's good. I think it's a good addition to the game. It's just, I don't know if Zero's ever going to be able to play it again, because he plays it a certain way, and Cabin Fever is going to kind of take that away from him.
To be honest, the last time I played the game, it was almost too easy for me, remember? When you can stream The Long Dark for how many hours without dying?
And you had to throw yourself at a bear
I had
twice.
to, I had to attack a bear twice to
you
die.
got mauled by a bear twice before you finally died.
I was like,
He got mauled by a bear once. He punched the bear in its face, and it went, "All right, already."
And it just ran
the second
off.
time, it decided to finish off the job.
Yeah. It's like, okay, guys, I've got 20% health. It's time to attack the bear, and so I can go to bed. Because I said, I'm not going to end the stream if I'm still alive in the game. It's like, hey, there's a bear I can die to. Mm-hmm. Psh. Yeah,
When
right.
you actively have to try to find crap to kill you in a survival game, someone has done something wrong.
It's a
Well, they're
great
fixing
game,
that.
though, guys. If you haven't seen The Long Dark, I would suggest looking at some of the YouTube reviews or watching some of the live streams being done on it. Somebody's always playing it somewhere. Speaking of stuff that people are always playing, you know, we're PC
Or
masters.
not.
We're PC masters for the most part on MTR. But there's a lot of people out there that are not.
Hey, I have consoles.
You know, Bob's got consoles. Krim loves his consoles. I used to have an Xbox One, always wanted a PS4, so I sold my Xbox One and said, nah, I'm going to put, $1,500 worth of video cards in my computer and never have to deal with it again. GameStop is now giving you a $200 credit on fully functional and complete Xbox One systems and PlayStation 4 systems when you bring them in hopes to purchase the other next gen system. That's right. If you bought your Xbox One when it first came out and said, "Yeah, I like this," and then realized maybe I'd have a little bit more fun playing PS4, but I don't have the money to buy a PS4, take your Xbox One to GameStop. They will give you $200 store credit to purchase a new PS4. Same thing if you've got a PS4 and want an Xbox One. These offers do not apply to refurbished units. If you're planning to buy a refurbished or used one, because let's face it, what is it? It's a PS4 is $350 now, and the new Xbox One is $100 or $300. So you bring in an Xbox One, get $200, $200 towards a $350 PS4. Bring in a PS4 and walk out with an Xbox One for $100. I mean, it's amazing. That's not going to be my new tagline, by the way. It's amazing. Thoughts?
Well, I could see some people that have like a extensive, and I'm using the term very loosely, but a slightly large Xbox One or PS4 library, where if you're not going to have the system anymore, you're trading in the games too, right? And this is where they're going to make their money back with that $200 credit, because you're turning in the games, you're going to resell the games, yada yada, right? And you could probably get everything in on store credit, switching from one to the other. Now you need to buy some games, and they're making money through that, and I have no problem with it, because the thing is, if you look at a graph, at certain graphs out there, there's been times to where the Wii U was outselling the Xbox One.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like most, 60 to 70% of the market share on console sales belong to Sony right now. I'm not talking handhelds or anything like that. Like Nintendo's got handhelds in their back pocket, and yours. But this is a very smart move on their GameStop's on GameStop's part, and I see no problem with this move by GameStop.
I think it's kind of weird. I just, it's strange how you can, change out consoles, especially completely different ones that people get in fights over, whether they're an Xbox person or a PlayStation person.
That's the thing. That's the thing. If you
some Xbox exclusives and do the same thing for PS4. It's a short list.
Exactly. For the most part, you're not going to want an Xbox One. You're not going to want to get rid of your Xbox One if you have a large library of games for it, because obviously you enjoy playing your Xbox One. Same thing with the PS4. If you've got, 50 games for your PS4, you're not going to go over to GameStop and trade it in so that you can get an Xbox One and play Sunset Overdrive. You're not going to.
Yeah, see, I'm the kind of person that if I'm gonna, get a console, which is very rare, but if I did decide to go out and get a PlayStation 4 or 3 or whatever, I'm keeping that until it dies.
Right. But you're
I
gonna
mean,
you're
I,
gonna
I
look at
work
the
my machines until they die.
you're gonna look at the list of available games for it too and do your homework like a responsible person, aren't you? Before you
I
know.
hope.
Yeah, I don't just like go out and buy something.
Yeah, like here's why I would go with a PS4 over the Xbox One. Personally, um, I still have a bad taste from the 360 in my mouth. That's just how it is. Because while I was in Iraq, it already had an overheating problem, and then I'm in Iraq where temperatures hit 130 plus. Um, that's using American measurement for temperature, not any other. Anyways, um, and that system just couldn't handle it, but my PS3 could. And also, like, I like some of the exclusives, like, but with this generation, there's no exclusives I personally like, so I don't know whether it's Xbox One or PS4, other than, I just like the PS4. Or I just like to. I'd have to base it off of my love of the previous generations and nothing. Like, there's been nothing to make me jump to the next generation.
And see if I had to pick, one or the other, and unfortunately I couldn't pick, a Nintendo product. I'd have to go with the Xbox for the exclusive of Halo. So
See,
I
everybody's
would
got
have to
their
go with PlayStation just because I don't like Xbox personally. Like, I've played one once. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the controller. I've always had a PlayStation. So,
Every-
and it seems like there's more games for the PlayStation. But maybe that's just me and locking in on
Yeah,
that
and
particular
the PSN
console.
a lot better.
That's
But
that's the thing. Like you do your homework anymore now, but when they first came out, yeah, there was a lot of things that were like, there's a lot of games that genres that stopped and things like that, and it became more of a if you want to play any kind of a 2K game, you get a Microsoft product for the most part. You get the Xbox. If you want to play RPGs, you get the PS4. But that's just I don't know. I think it's cool that GameStop is doing this. GameStop doing anything else, Bob?
yeah, unfortunately, GameStop has started publishing games using the publishing title Game Trust. Now, do I think that this is entirely bad? No, I just have a problem with GameStop doing it because I'm afraid they might flood the market. Um, originally, originally it was just going to be this one game called Song of the Deep. It was supposed to be this Metrovania game, but you're in it, a little girl on a submarine, and there's supposed to be story elements, and blah blah blah. Sounds fine. Sounds fun. But 3 developers have signed on with the publisher, joining along Insomniac Games Tequila Works, who made Deadlight, Ready at Dawn, who made the Order 1866. Oh, that just makes me know they're in good hands there, because that game blew chunks. And Frozen Byte, BYTE, who made Trine, which was it's an okay game. Creative control will be in the hands of the developers. Games Trust's main purpose will be centered around marketing and distribution of video game titles. That's it. Given the fact that Game Trust will be making games that go onto the GameStop shelves, the company assured that Game Trust will operate separately from GameStop. I'm pretty sure they're lying, but I can't prove it. Vice President of Internal Development at GameStop, Mark Stanley, said that these first 4 partners were not quote going to let a bad game out the door. Really? Ready at Dawn made the Order 1866. You are lying through your teeth. He went to say that they were going to focus on smaller games and, quote, launching them at times of the year where we stay away from the massive fourth quarter craziness.
1866 was quite the small game. Thank you much. Beautiful game.
18
Cutscene simulator, even.
Right.
1866 sucked.
It was a cutscene simulator. There was, 2 hours of gameplay in it?
And 4 hours of movies.
And 4 hours of movies. That is a small game from a PlayPoint standard.
Yeah, from a play point standard, but like they don't understand the medium. They don't make engaging gameplay. They can't write a good story because there was some major plot holes, and the entire thing is you're fighting werewolves and stuff, and that happened like 3 times in the entire game. So yeah, it's a shit game. Any comments on that? On just the idea in general, or the fact that GameStop is doing this?
I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. I think it's going to give Steam's green light a run for its money. You know, that's where most of our indie games are coming from. Like, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing because indie developers will have a place to go other than Steam Greenlight, but I still rely on Steam Greenlight because you've got a populace that is deciding whether or not these games should be made.
Yeah, but there's plenty of people lying through their teeth on that populace.
There are plenty of them lying through their teeth, but it's not these 3 developers these four game heads, these 4 heads, main people that are going to say, "Yep, your game gets made," and "Nope, your game doesn't get made."
Yeah. Now, here's the thing: these 3 developers are the ones making the games, and they have made games before. 2 out of the 3 ain't that bad. Deadlight was okay, Tron was okay, but they weren't great. And Ready at Dawn, just no, you should not make another game after, or at least do a huge restructure, which I hope they have after making the order. I'll quit beating that one to death. The premise I'm perfectly fine with. Like, I've said before that, this is one area to where the movie studios are ahead of gaming, and that we should keep up in that sense. That you guys have at least heard of Slumdog Millionaire, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was an indie movie published by Fox through one of their indie publishing companies. However, they've also published some completely tripe, but that's it's one of those they take a little bit of risk and get a little bit of reward, so it's not that big of a deal to where when they have a runaway hit, they make a lot of the money, but they stay out of the creative control sort of thing.
Right.
It's just a way to where it's like, hey, these movies would not have been made if someone didn't invest in them, sort of thing. And again, the game, like, there's been a lot of good games that could have been that don't happen because lack of funds. That's what Kickstarter does. But yeah, I think that's about it for the gaming. We're now moving on to the tech department of the show, and boy, do we start off with a heavy hitter. Microsoft, yeah, that Microsoft, sues the U.S. government over secret data requests. Microsoft is suing the U.S. government over its right to tell its users when federal agencies want to provide access to private data. Basically, Microsoft said that 5,624 requests for data were made in the past 18 months, and almost half came with a court order forcing the company to keep the demand secret. And out of that, 1,700 of those came with that court order forcing the company to keep the demand secret forever, as in no end date. Up until recently, laws were in place where you couldn't even tell your lawyer when this happened. Microsoft is saying that people do not give up their rights when they move their private information from physical storage to cloud. and that it felt that the government exploited the transition to cloud computing as a means to expanding its power to conduct secret investigations. The Justice Department as of now, has yet to comment in the case's latest row of pitting U.S. tech giants against the government. If you guys remember the entire thing of the FBI versus Apple approximately a month ago, with Microsoft's rival Apple is calling for Congress to take lead in addressing the wider issue of violating privacy with national security. Microsoft case centers on the Electronic Communication Privacy Act, a 30-year-old law several tech firms feel is outdated and being abused, much like other older laws, such as the DMC, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which was written in 1998. Last little blurb we want to cover is according to Mr. Smith, we believe that with rare exceptions, consumers and businesses have a right to know when the government access their email and records. Yes, it's becoming a new routine for the U.S. government to issue orders that require email providers to keep these types of legal demands secret. We believe that this goes too far, and we're asking courts to address the situation. We question whether these orders are grounded in specific facts that are truly demanding secrecy. To the contrary, it appears that the enforcement of secrecy orders has become too routine. Basically, the reason why these laws were put into place is this one person was working for the Mexican cartel and was helping with human trafficking, drug trafficking, whatever. Them knowing they're being researched will give them reason to hurry up, flee the country, destroy evidence, what have you. But what Microsoft is asking is, instead of immediately slamming their fist down, it's like, no, you can never tell this person about it forever, is that they have an interim period they start out with, and as that interim period gets close to finishing, it gets extended as needed, not just because they feel like it. Any thoughts, guys?
So short and skinny of it, government did bad thing. Microsoft said no.
Right.
Oh, they're not even saying no. It's like, yeah, we've been going about this. We don't like this. Can we please get this law changed?
Right. Like
they're still following the letter.
So they said no very loudly. Okay.
Yes. Microsoft, among other people, continuously collect data from its users. That's right, I used data correctly there in that sentence. FYI, guys. Gonna derail it a little bit. Data is a plural word. The singular of data is datum. One datum is one bit of data. 1 bit of information, yes, 1 byte. Anyway, Microsoft is continuously collecting data. Google is continuously collecting data, and it's all for advertisement, targeting, and stuff like that. Microsoft knows if you're looking for a new car, what types of videos you watch. They know all the things. Everything you type into your browser, everything you watch through your computer, everything you do on your Xbox, all of that stuff is calculated. Well, if the government's tracking you for something, they're going to go, hey, Microsoft, give us everything you've collected on this person. And Microsoft said, hey, no, that's not a good thing to do. That's not right. I stand with Microsoft on it, but I also, at the same time, say, what is the difference between Microsoft collecting all this data and analyzing it versus the government wanting that data so that they can analyze an investigation? Just because, Microsoft, I guess we all signed the EULA.
Yeah, it's because basically we agreed to it. When you read the EULA, if you do, which you should, you agree to it. It's a contract. It's binding. However, but it's basically, it's the difference between inviting someone into your house and someone breaking into your house when you're not there to rummage through your crap.
Right.
You know, it's all about, it's like, hey, listen, the government doesn't need to know about everything. And you can use the argument of, well, honest people don't have anything to hide. Well, okay, can I put on some gloves and, do a cavity search of a president or any government official just because, they shouldn't have anything to hide? No, they have a right to privacy. So do I. So does
I mean,
everybody else.
there's a part of me that wants to play the devil's advocate here and be like, yeah, I get that. I totally agree with that. But if there was something serious going on and they needed that information because there was some kind of attack of some sort, or there was something that was, I don't know, something that would
Oh yeah.
help in some kind of case.
However, these are rare cases. It's just that they're trying to make it to where it doesn't happen unnecessarily as often. Where it's like, hey, listen, we had to give information to the government. Here we're being reviewed. Here is why. But on a lot of these times, they cannot do it because they're not legally allowed. It's them being gagged is the problem. Because
Right.
There's no problem with the government doing investigations for counterterrorism and all that good stuff as long as they don't cross certain lines, which I'm not even going to get into because it's way too political and blah, blah, blah. But there is a problem when it's like, yeah, you're not going to tell anybody ever. And up until recently, you can't even tell your lawyer that we're telling you to keep your mouth shut. That's why we've had things like the warning canaries, I believe, on Reddit, to where they had to delete a line because they were asked the government for searches, so they couldn't say that they were being searched, but they just decided to no longer say that they weren't being asked for this information.
Well, in other news, and just some more light-hearted things, a thing that should have been implemented long ago is now when you Google search, say, a TV show or whatnot, it'll show you live TV listings for that show. So you can look up, Showtime. Oh, it's going to be playing at this time today, this time tomorrow, the day after. All these wonderful things that should have been implemented a long time ago. So I think this is great. I think this is overdue and fantastic.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's like, when's the next episode of Doctor Who coming on? And is it going to be a rerun? And if it is a rerun, is it going to be an episode I actually like? Google Doctor Who. Ding ding. Doctor Who Lost in Time episode Lost in Time will be showing tomorrow at 3 p.m. on the BBC. Sweet, I love that episode, and watch. I'm honestly surprised this didn't happen sooner. Currently, it's only on Android, the Android version. I don't know about the web browser, but it is on the Android version because they own Android. And why would they give Apple more power?
Right. But that's amazing. That's not going to be my new tagline.
It is already.
That's amazing. Intel.
Okay, Ed, I'm buying you a thesaurus.
That is spectacular. It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Groovy.
That's groovy. Tubular. Intel.
No. I use groovy. That's not needed. Tubular. You might as well go.
Intel. Guys, Intel. I thought we were going to have at least one podcast week where we're not talking about places shutting down or laying off or, losing jobs. Intel.
So hedge your bets, people. Congratulations. The people that said that we're going to have another week just won however much.
Intel is laying off 12,000 people. Soon. They're cutting their workforce by 11%. This is mainly due to the slowdown of the purchase of new PCs. The Skylake processor is out. It's beautiful. It's got a couple of flaws. We've already talked about some of them, but it's beautiful. It's fast. It's quiet. It's hot. It likes the heat. It runs so good hot. But PC sales have slowed down for the most part because everything's running longer and you can upgrade faster. You can upgrade cheaper than buying a new one. And it's just really sad. The other big thing that's coming out, or that's going on with the 12,000 people, Microsoft just released a new Xeon processor, the E5 2600 V4, fourth generation Xeon, set up to run user-defined cloud computing, which could power roughly 100 computers virtual machines. So you just need a dummy box that can be up to 10 years old. Businesses use them all the time. So there's no need to have tech support or crank out new computers. It's just really, really sad. But Intel is saying that by getting rid of 12,000 jobs, they are hoping to save $750 million this year. And their annual run rate savings are going to be in the $1.4 billion range by mid next year. And yeah, they're going to save money by losing 12,000 people. It's just sad. Any of you Microsoft employees Intel employees, not Microsoft. We wouldn't hire Microsoft employees. Intel employees might be looking for a job. Well, we've got unpaid internships here at Minus the Rumors.
Yeah, actually, no, we don't, because how unpaid internship laws work in the United States, and this is a pro tip for you guys out there, so you guys don't get screwed. Is it has to be considered? You'd have to be considered learning something that would be equivalent to what you're learning in college. Otherwise, you're being used to slave labor, and according to the Department of Labor, that is illegal.
Well, we can teach you how to live stream. Come on over to Minus the Rumors.
I can teach you how to video edit. So that counts. I think.
All right. So, guys, I think it's time that we take a little bit of a ad break. Just a second here. Hey, Coy, welcome to the stream, by the way.
Hi.
I would like to talk about Bottle Rocket Gaming. Folks, if you haven't seen on either Crimson Rose's channel or my channel, we are members of Bottle Rocket Gaming. Angry Hippie Lady and Ziploc Bob have both joined. It's a gaming collective. We're not a Minecraft server or anything like that. Just, we collect.
There is one.
We collect content creators. Coy, I think I've actually mentioned it to you before, to come on over and join. We've got groups of gamers. We all just get together and have a good time. They're going back to their 18 years and older platform for applicants. But come on over to bottlerocketgaming.com and sign on up.
The good news here is that it's just YouTubers and Let's Players and blah, blah, blah. If you're just someone who likes to talk about video games and just likes to play games with other people, but you're like me and have 0 friends, or 0 for a friend, either one works here, it's a great place to get into social gaming, but not social games such as World of Tanks, World of Warships, blah, 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 which they've turned me on to, and it's an amazing game. No, we're not totally sponsored. No, we're not sponsored. But hey, guys, if you're watching this, we'd like another sponsor. But yeah, You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be an all-the-time gamer. It's a gaming collective. Yes, there are Minecraft servers and blah, blah, blah. And everybody there is super friendly. For the most part, I'm on there, so there's at least one a-hole.
All right, with that being said, moving on into the entertainment world of Minus the Rumors. So, Avatar, that movie about the blue people and the whatnot that, grossed higher than anything else in the world.
March 2?
What?
March 2.
Yes. No, Avatar. So, James Cameron Avatar, not Shyamalan, whatever his name is. Yes, exactly. So, they're making sequels. Not just one, not just two, not just three, but 4 more. And they're going to film them at the same time. And I'm not saying back to back. I'm saying, say Monday we'll film a scene from movie number 4, and then Tuesday we'll film a scene from movie number 2. So they're going to release these 2018, 2020, 2022, and 2023. They're going to kind of alternate with Star Wars because they don't want to go head to head with them. But the fact that they're making all these sequels and they're filming them literally at the same time, James Cameron goes in to say, this is going to be a huge challenge for us, me, the actors, because it's going to be hard for the actors, to be in character because you're playing basically 4 different people and 4 different timelines, and it's just ridiculous. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I can't believe that this is happening. Like, it's one thing to have the 4 sequels that we never wanted, but then to film them all at once is just absolutely insane. Why don't you do them back to back like a normal person instead of putting not only yourself through a bunch of stress, but your actors and actresses? You need to think about them before you think about your money venture. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up now before I actually get angry.
Oh, you're not actually angry? Okay, listen. The 4 the sequels we never wanted, correct? We already got those. It was called 1, 2, and 3. I actually enjoyed the 4 sequels. Now the spin-off movies are going to be interesting. But considering they've already made a spin-off movie with Life Day and Christmas and whatever, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all mixing together, they've got nowhere to go but up. And Star Wars is a good enough franchise to do that with it. It's got a rich enough history and story and expanded universe and blah, blah, blah. Avatar was a visual spectacle with a lackluster plot. It doesn't deserve a sequel. It's not going to make the money it does because the first one did, because it's going to be hard to make, like, CGI and everything look as mind-blowing to us now as it did back then without some major money pumped into this thing. Because the plot was boring, the world was boring, the characters were really freaking dumb and had no sense. So, yeah.
I thought the world was beautiful and absolutely
the world
loved
looked
it.
Beautiful. I'm talking from a story point perspective. The movie was visually appealing, very visually appealing, but that's it.
Zoe Saldana as a 6'5" or 7 foot, 8 foot tall blue alien life form. Hot furry dreams, man.
I loved it all. I loved every single second of the movie. I've watched it multiple times. It appealed to my hippie side. And that's probably what it was, is that it appealed to the hippie side of me and the hatred for the non-hippie stuff. But anyway, I'm extremely sad to see that these 4 movies are coming out.
Well, it's the whole thing that you can't say that it's not in some way a decent movie because the fact that it is the highest grossing movie in the world, they did something right. Personally, I don't like the movie, but I have to say it's a great movie just because it made so much money, and that is why they're making more sequels. Obviously, is because there's money to be had there. My problem with them filming them all at once is the fact that just say if movie 2 comes out and either a lot of people loved a specific part or hated a specific part. Obviously, when you go and make the next one, you would tweak things, make them better. With this, you're going to be like, okay, unless we're going to do reshoots, which actors
More
don't exactly
expensive.
love to do when you're doing that years later and everyone looks physically different. It's going to be an issue.
And as far as in every argument, like I hear your argument, and I do understand where it's coming from on why it can be considered a good movie because it made a lot of money. Fine. I would like to counter with this. Let's look at some of the other top sellers of all time. Movies of all time, bam. Number 1 was Avatar. Number 2 was Titanic. Number 3 is Star Wars Force Awakens. Number 4 is Jurassic World. And number 5 is The Avengers. Then Furious 7 right under that. Alright. Let's go with Avatar first. And I want to ask the exact same singular question on how much did it, and this is more of a how much did it affect our culture? How many Avatar ripoffs were there?
Dumb, because it was perfect.
No. Ripoffs are are bad movies made to just cash cow into the original. None, because that stuff wore off as soon as it got out of the box office. Titanic, plenty, including multiple animated movies made around and after the time to try to cash in on the Titanic story. Star Wars Episode 7, it's too new, but there's been plenty of Star Wars ripoffs. Jurassic World, again, a little too new, but there's plenty of Dino movie ripoffs, even exploitation movies. The Avengers, same thing. Been plenty of ripoffs of that. Furious 7, plenty of ripoffs. Age of Ultron. Basically, they're trying to make a Justice League movie for a reason. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Hallows Part 2. Yes, plenty of ripoffs. Frozen, plenty of ripoffs. Iron Man, plenty of ripoffs. Minions, plenty of ripoffs.
I feel like this is a very lousy argument to basically say just because it's been ripped off that it is a great movie. Terrible movies get ripped off all the time because they're terrible. It's just circumstantial of whatever you're doing. I mean,
Sharknado got ripped off. You're going to say it was a great movie?
Story and plot elements for it. Avatar doesn't have a strong enough story or plot to take story or plot elements from it.
The whole story was that we as humans wrecked the planet and we went to another planet to get some stupid element because that's what we do. We screw things up. And that's the whole movie right there. There's this whole new world with
so Avatar basically ripped off Fern Gully. Fern Gully.
That was a good movie too.
Fern Gully was pretty good.
Have you seen the second one?
No.
Good for you.
I didn't know there was a second one.
Yeah, it was a right-to-video, and it was horrible.
Anyway, that was the story. That was the important part. You can't ignore that.
It's Fern Gully. Fern Gully. There we go. It's Captain Planet, minus Captain Planet, and insert the Planeteers with a guy that forgot to do his freaking mission and went,
but it's better.
I want to bang the natives. It's horrible.
It's terrible, a lot better.
And miserable. It's
Bob,
pandering.
We have differing opinions on Avatar. We have differing opinions on Batman versus Superman. The point of the article is to talk about how they're filming it at the same time and that there are so many sequels. Let's drop the fact that it is not a good movie or not. That is not a part of the discussion. Drop it.
Okay, on that one, let's go with it. This one, on this one is like, should they make sequels? Sure, yeah, there's money in it, but how they're doing it, I'm like, don't do it at the same time because it doesn't lend itself time to necessary rewrites. And I don't care how bad or good a movie it is, there's going to have to be rewrites. And it takes a lot of their flexibility out to where I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. You know?
Yes.
So, guys, we had a really big tragedy today. Prince died.
What?
The end.
No.
He died at 57. A very sad day. I didn't even hear any of his music until just like 30 minutes ago. 55 minutes ago, actually.
Yeah. The most I know about Prince of himself is that he turned himself into a symbol.
Prince was a.
But he's made a lot of music that I've liked. And I remember growing up, my mom used to love that movie. Was it Purple Rain?
Yes.
That was the Prince movie? God, that was cheesy, but it was so good, jeez. But, you know, he helped shape the late 80s and early 90s when it comes to that pop rock music. And it's so sad.
In other news, Civil War 2. So the Civil War event basically saved Marvel. And now we're getting it on the big screen. However, Marvel is making another Civil War event in their comics. This is not related to the first Civil War. However, this one is there's a mutant or a being that can now predict the future of crimes and whatnot. And the basic premise is, should we use this to crime fight, or should we say, we know you're going to commit this crime, so we're going to lock you up anyways? That age-old question. So obviously the superhero community gets split, and they're going at it. This is where the new Civil War gets started. So basically, they're doing Civil War. The second Civil War event is going to be launching in June for the comic books, a month after original Civil War launches on the big screen. So this way they can kind of publicize each other, get a little bit of obviously the comics are not as big as the movie, so this gives good time to really do some publicity for it. So it's interesting if you're a fan of the comics. I'm pretty sure this is one they poured a lot of their heart and souls into, trying to make this Civil War event as good as the other one, but not repetitive. And hopefully, if it's really good, we do see this on the big screen. So.
Yeah, honestly don't see having this on the big screen because there actually have been movies that have done a similar premise.
Same storyline, yes.
As far as like the actual problem, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie for some reason. I just cannot. It was a Tom Cruise movie where you had these three people that were psychic and they would have these little pellets and they put the pellet in the thing and it would show a crime that could possibly happen, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yes.
And, how the justice system works is you have to perform the crime, then you receive the punishment after due process and blah, blah, blah. Here it seems like there's no due process. The crime doesn't actually happen, so technically they never did anything wrong. And I can see how this. I can actually see how both sides could make a wonderfully valid argument. I really can. It's one of those. If you had the power to stop something that you knew was going to happen with absolute certainty, would you? A lot of people would just off the gut instinct be yes. But on the other side, it's like, well, what if you're locking up someone and you're just going off of this notion that it could be wrong. There could be that instance where, it's just, why would that, could be a lot of civil liberties taken away and, privacy, privacy and all that. It's just like, this is going to have to take some industry veterans that know how to write to do this well. And if nothing else, it's going to sell because it has the word Civil War, and it's just the perfect time to use that.
You know what else is going to take some time to write? Sherlock 3. So apparently there's going to be a third movie for Sherlock.
Woo-hoo!
And no, it's not the same as the BBC TV show that comes out periodically when it feels like it, because they randomly have time or shut down other TV shows to have it. But anyway, this is with Robert Downey Jr. and apparently he's even more of a jerk in this than he is when he plays Iron Man.
Yes, he is.
But that is it's a thing. It's gonna be coming out, and I don't know. I haven't even seen the first two, so
The
I am.
first one was very, very good. I didn't care so much for the second one, but it was still
Was it Game of
pretty
Shadows?
good. Yeah, Game of
Mhm.
Shadows.
Yeah. I mean, Game of Shadows was average. Or not even average, it was just above average. It was an average Robert Downey Jr. performance. I will get that right the first time one of these days. But, it was still okay. The writing was solid enough, but it felt more like an action than a mystery, so it kind of went off the normal Sherlock Holmesian stuff, and it was set around the build up to World War One. So it's interesting. It's historical. Kind of like that alt history sort of stuff.
Indeed.
But speaking of movies and video games and all the stuff you love, here are these next week and a half, because it's a slow time right now, releases. Tales from the Borderlands from Telltale Games is finally getting its full release of all the episodes on consoles, PC, and mobile devices such as Android and iOS as April 26th. Star Fox Zero, made by Nintendo, is being released tomorrow along with its companion game. The Ratchet & Clank movie, made by Focus Features, is being released on April 29th in theaters. And the game for the movie that was based off the game, help, was released back in April, on April 12th. Somehow we missed that, and so we're updating this as quickly as we can. For the PS4, by Insomniac Games, which made all the original ones, and reviews supposedly have been really well. Keanu, which is Key and Peele with a Kitten, is produced by Warner Brothers and is being released on April 29th. And The Huntsman comes out on April 22nd. It is again tomorrow.
Well, very, very nice. So, as always, this has been the Minus the Rumors podcast. You be sure to be back at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard next week. You can catch the podcast in a few hours on the YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to us there. Let's see. You can catch my I'm streaming every day. You can catch that stuff on my channel. Bob has a new Let's Play that I'll just let you go and find it.
Please
you can also check out
to watch my stuff. There's a lot of swearing.
exactly.
A lot.
Let's see. Hippie is streaming Tuesdays and Saturdays, and she has a plethora of series going. So be sure to check out those. Also, Zero is going to hopefully be streaming again very soon, and he's got a few series going. I highly recommend you check out, and an Extra Life campaign. You can check MTR out on Twitter, YouTube, Votable. We also have swag that you can buy from a Design by Humans shop. And we will see you guys back next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.